here high and dry. Oh, well, I don't wanna jinx it, baby, and twist myself at the spine. Don't wanna overthink it, baby. It's just twist your body and mine. Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're giving me wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight hour. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh,
It's like not too hot, but not cold. Also, so there's a little bit of water left in the glass. I'm just going to use that as well. I'm going to work my way through, forming a dough. And once a rough dough is formed, I'm just going to place it onto a clean surface, and I'm going to begin the kneading process. I'm going to knead it for a few seconds before I add the butter into the dough. So this is 20 grams of butter. I'm going to knead it into the dough, so you know the dough ends up absorbing the butter, and gently push it in and try to incorporate the butter into the dough. And once that's done, we start kneading. And the way we knead is we push the dough with one hand and we bring it back again. So we're pushing and bringing it forth again. That's how we're supposed to knead it. Now if you've noticed, I've not added salt to the flour. I'll be adding it a little later. You could add it to the flour as well, that's totally alright. So this is almost done. This kneading would take about 8 to 10 minutes, and you would knead it from the bottom of your palm or the heel of your palm. So this is how you're supposed to do it. And we do this till we pass the window pane test, and I'm going to show you what the window pane test looks like. Till then, it's a good workout for our hands. I do have a stand mixer too, but this is just for the ones who don't have a stand mixer at home. Please don't feel intimidated. This can definitely be made by using your hands too. Although a stand mixer would make the work a lot easier. Now I'm going to add salt. This is about half a teaspoon of salt. And then I'm going to rub it into the dough and knead it for about a minute or two at the most. And once that's done, now is the time for us to perform the window pane test. And what is the window pane test? So I take out a small ball and I'm going to stretch the dough, okay? Now if it's done, your dough will stretch to a point, okay? It will not tear in between, like this, like so. So this is what it looks like. You're stretching the dough and it's quite transparent, but it hasn't, there is no tear in the middle. That's when you achieve the window pane test. And now our dough is ready to proof. So I'm going to use the same bowl in which I kneaded it. I'm just going to spritz some oil so that it doesn't get caught at the bottom. And I'm going to let it rise for about half an hour, because I live in a warm place, so half an hour is good enough. I'm going to cover it with an easy wrap. I've also oiled the top of the dough so that it does not dry up while it's proofing. So cover it with easy wrap, and I'm gonna let it rise for about half an hour or till it doubles in size. So half an hour later, the dough has doubled in size and it's full of air and gas now. Gently take it out, and I'm gonna take out the gas that is in the dough, or the air that's there. We're gonna release the air by gently tugging it or just pressing it like so. Before I give it a final shape, I'm also gonna let it rest for about 10 minutes, and I'll show you what I'm talking about in a bit. Yeah, I'm just gonna roll it and let it rest for 10 minutes. Ten minutes later, this is ready to be rolled out and shaped and put into the bread mold. And this is done, so I'm rolling it, and now what I'm going to do is the bottom has to be nicely sealed, because it may open up while it's proofing again or while baking. So the bottom of the seam, we want to seal it or pinch it like so. And we will place it in the bread mold. I'm going to spritz some oil in the mold so that it does not get stuck to the mold when it's baking, and it'll be easy to take it out as well. And this is going to be the final proofing, so I'm going to cover it with easy wrap again, and I'm going to let it proof for about an hour, 1 hour. So 1 hour later, this has risen really well. It looks very beautiful, and the oil on the top that I spritzed really helped, because when I removed the easy wrap, you can see that it did not get stuck to that, because a little hole made into this and the effort's gonna go down, so you have to be really careful when you're working with this. I'm gonna brush the top with some milk because it gives an even color. Some use water, or even give it an egg wash. Now I already have my oven being preheated at 180 degrees Celsius. So once that's done, after I give it a milk wash, I'm gonna put it in the oven and bake it for 25 minutes at 180 degrees Celsius. 25 minutes later, my bread is done. Also, this is a convection oven, but I turned off the convection, the fan, and I've just kept it on bake mode, and the bread is absolutely beautiful. I'm brushing it with butter, and even though it looks done, the loaf is still hot, and we do not want to cut it when the loaf is hot. And to prevent any moisture from being released, I'm going to cover it for about an hour and a half with a damp cloth, just so that the crust doesn't become hard. And now I'm gonna demold the loaf of bread, and there you go. Look at how beautiful that loaf looks. Wow. That's quite an achievement, I must say. Now this is very hot, but look at how beautifully it is baked. The top looks perfect. It's browned very well, and it's cooked perfectly, but it's still very hot inside, and like I said, we don't want to cut the loaf now. I want to cover it with a damp cloth and leave it on the counter for about an hour and a half, and then cut it when it's cooled completely. Just taking a cotton cloth, wet it, and this is just a damp cloth. And an hour and a half later, this is what it looks like. I'm gonna cut it now. So let me show you what it looks like. I'm gonna cut them into slices using my bread knife, and there you go, they're done. Look at that. The perfect slice. I hope you liked this video. Please stay tuned for more.